Okay, let's do it.
All right. So, when did you first start streaming and like what were your first impressions of streaming like?
So I first started streaming in 2016, actually 2017. And I originally made YouTube videos, and that was like 2013, 14, 15 maybe with the game. I think the gaming channel stuff, sorry, I think the gaming stuff started 2015 and the streaming didn't start till 2017. And you said what was my initial impressions of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, streaming was interesting because it's definitely the strongest way I think of connecting with your audience. Um, it had a lot of similarities to like doing improv or like stand up, or like doing like a stage play, which I kind of grew up doing in like church and school and stuff like that. So it didn't feel too far off, but it was definitely different than a recorded video. But I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoy it.
Cool, yeah. And when you first started streaming, which streaming platform did you get on?
So my first streaming platform was YouTube. Um, that was like how I really started taking off. And I didn't start using Twitch, I'd say, until 2019, 2020, maybe even. So yeah, it was a YouTube stream out the gate.
And with streaming now becoming, I guess, more mainstream, how would you say, I guess, if there's like any like differences with streaming how it was then and then now?
Yeah. I would say with streaming nowadays, it's a lot higher in production. Um, and honestly, like I think like mainstream, if we're gonna define it like celebrity level, like people like a household name kind of thing, there's not that many mainstream streamers. I'd say like you got like the AMP guys and Speed and Aiden Ross, Jinxie. Uh, but I'd say like the difference is definitely the production level and the reach. Like back then when I was coming up, I don't think people saw streaming as like um a valid source of entertainment. It was just like another internet thing, that people on the internet just kind of do. Same thing as like a message board or something like that. So it's definitely grown in ways that nobody could have imagined, but I'm totally happy about it.
Yeah, and would you say there's like any different like disadvantages and advantages when it comes to streaming?
For sure. I would say the advantages is you get like live feedback. So like for example, you can know if a joke hits or it flops, and what I'm saying, if things are going good, you might end up with like a fire YouTube upload or maybe like a TikTok edit out of it, and you're like, oh, okay, from that one joke, I already know I can make something happen off of this. But I see like the disadvantages on the opposite side is like if something bad happens in real time, like you kind of got to deal with that in real time too. And what happens on the internet stays on the internet. I think people are realizing as time goes on that we're all like flawed humans who make mistakes though. So if you have a community that understands you and understands that idea, then there's always opportunities for corrections, you know what I'm saying, in real time too. So
Mhm.
yeah.
And would you say there's like any requirements into becoming a streamer?
Yeah, they're probably more like uh okay, so for example, I'd say like a requirement would be knowing what you want out of it before you start. Like goals, you want to kind of set goals. Knowing what kind of boundaries you'll allow, because I think that will help curate what kind of community you'll actually have and be known for. When things start to take off, if you're not knowing who you are, what you stand for, then you could have a lot of craziness in your community versus having like, like-minded people and stuff like that. Requirements, maybe vulnerability, like, people can probably read you if you're not being honest. And if if they can sense that, they're gonna go to somebody else who will actually show who they really are. I think as streaming gets more mainstream, you're gonna get all types of different people too with different agendas and stuff. But I would say like um you can stream off your phone. Like as far as equipment, you can stream off your phone. Everybody has like a smartphone these days. You don't need to have like the best camera, the best mic, but I would probably start with a microphone if we were going to talk about like requirements of internet, of course, but I'd say like the other stuff I said was more important because that's like the longevity kind of requirements.
And is there some type of role that you've established in like the streaming industry or community?
That's an interesting question. I would say like, people love calling me Unc. I'm only 32, but they love throwing Unc on me. And I appreciate it. I always say like they treat the internet like dog years. And so like Unc is like a respectable OG kind of figure in the space. I've been doing it for like 10 years now. And so the content creation, not necessarily streaming, but like content creation. So a lot of these streamers and stuff grew up watching my stuff, which bruh, it's so cringy to even say, but like I do appreciate that role because I was just telling my stream yesterday that I'm glad that, I came up in a time where it didn't require me to do the most to get attraction. It was just like uh just being funny, being myself, where now it is a lot more competition and you kind of got to shine in whatever way that comes. And so now, like that, I'm in this stage of my career where people are now trying to get in doing the most. I'm like, okay, at least I know I can kind of chill back and people know like what I did during my time. And I'm cool with that. Not to say I'm done, but it's just a nice spot to be in. And I feel like my community and just my streams in general, I try and make it more of like a safe space for everybody to come have fun and hang out and laugh and stuff like that instead of being like more polarizing with my opinions or whatever the case. Like I just try and allow people to relax and have a good time wherever whatever backgrounds they come from.
Mm. And where do you think streaming will be, say, in the next 5 years?
Also an interesting question. I'd say in 5 years, I mean, I would hope streaming is recognized as like a legitimate source of entertainment, in the same way that like music and traditional film and TV are. Even YouTube, right? Like video content isn't the same as streaming, even though you can turn a lot of streams into videos. But I go back and forth with it, right? It's like I love where people like Kai Cenat have taken it, right? Like he's collabing with the biggest of the names, the biggest of the brands, and he's doing it in a way that's authentic to him. But I also love the streamers that they just get on there and vibe out with their favorite game, and they'll play the same game every single time they get on. And I think streaming there'll always be a place for both. I think the expectation for what it will take to reach some of the highest heights like Kai has, like that expectation will increase. Like it's gonna be hard to top what he's doing, um, but at the same time, like somebody can break through and be super calm and not saying Kai can't be calm, but like they could be like super regular with their content and people will be like, oh, I love this for the fact that it's a regular. So it's kind of so I think streaming there'll be opportunities for everybody, but um in 5 years, I think it'll be seen as like the same way you can find like horror movies, romantic comedy, you'll find like different types of streamers there too. And hopefully like they're compensated for the effort that it does take. You got to stay on with streaming. It's way different.
Yeah. And you've probably, I think, answered this, but is there like a reason or a goal why you wanted to start streaming other than making, I guess, YouTube videos?
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I feel like it was just part of the content creator roadmap at the time. And it still is, honestly, like it is the most like instantaneous way to connect with your audience. Like they're live with you, right? Like you're enjoying the game. Like even now, like it's a bit harder these days to just sit there and record videos than it would be to like fire up a stream and like get that energy back and forth between like the jokes or the conversations, just checking in. It feels like you're in a room with people. And yeah, I would say like when I first started, I was definitely heavier on the videos, but it just was still a way for me to like check in with people in real time. And I think that's important versus like, just making content for people to consume if you really are trying to tap in with your viewers. And kind of you can also check and see like what type of viewers you have too, right? I'm always surprised by the type of conversations we end up having on my stream because some days there we're roasting, some days like we're really connecting and like bonding, and some days like they pouring their hearts out, I'm pouring my hearts out or my heart out, and it's just different. I really can't even explain it any more than that. It's different, and I think it's important at least to just check in every now and then.
And has there been a stream of yours that has, in a way, kind of represented that, like just like vulnerability?
It's a good question. The first stream I think of, so like during 2020 when the quarantine was happening, I was doing these uh PE classes. It was like live workouts basically. And I would like pull up a YouTube video of an at-home workout that it was like all body weights and stuff, push-ups, sit-ups, planks and all that kind of stuff. And I would call it PEZ classes. And it was just funny to do them one because I knew people weren't able to go to the gym. So I'm like, let's work out together. And it was funny because like you get some people who are trolling, like they're always going to be trolls. But then like when the stream is over, I'd go through my story mentions or my Twitter notifications, and I'd see people like recording themselves doing it with me. And there was one time I was just having an off day, and I went through the workout, and we were just talking after. I mean, they were just pouring in like the subs and the bits, and it was overwhelming because like they didn't even recognize, well, maybe they did. I honestly don't know, but like just to have that like energy exchange of like I'm showing up and then like them to still show up for me in that way, like man, I started crying, and I'm not one to be afraid to cry either. I think some emotional vulnerability, like I said earlier, is important, and I'll remember that stream for a long time just because like where my head was at going into that, and then to get through it and then still be seen, it was just awesome. It was just a very awesome day, and we're in quarantine. It was like we had all the time in the world to connect, and I'm just glad we had that time for sure.
Yeah. And like seems like you're making, of course, like you're impacting a lot of people's lives just through streaming. And like I know that if you maybe want to get into like easy ball and like kind of
Yeah,
making that and just like I think having everything become more physical, if that makes sense.
100%. So like you said, like the easy ball, um, that's kind of like my opportunity again to connect with the community. And the easy ball is special to me because when I think of it like adult prom, where it's like, prom night, you're like getting your flyest fit on, you got the haircut, you got the suit, if you're a lady, you probably spending all day in the mirror, getting the makeup perfect, getting your clothes together and all that, nice dresses and gowns. And it's like, if you have the conditions of like it's safe, it's intimate, then like y'all can turn up to like level 100, bro. And then you just know like you're in a good, safe space to just be yourself. You're connecting with like-minded people. And yeah, it's just it's like a very heartwarming experience. And like, it is a party essentially, but we're curating it now to have like, a seated stage play and, musical guests. And we have a talent show portion and, all the things to just really showcase the community. Like that's where it started as a birthday party for myself, but um, over time we have been trying to change the focus more on the community because there's a lot of like awesome people that are watching these streamers, and you would never know it if you weren't taking the time to try and get to know them or talk to them or, have those opportunities. So like, yeah, like you said, that's the perfect way to put it. It's like taking what we do online and putting it back into the physical. Another idea that, I was working on, but I got to put on the back burner for now just because the timing just ain't aligning. But I really wanted to start an arcade bar. And because I feel like it would take somebody that's doing digital stuff since everybody's online now to like pull them back into the real world and be like, hey, like pull up here, like let's get some gaming tournaments, like come get a drink, like on the weekends we'll get a dance floor going. Like to me, I just want to get back to like how it felt when I was growing up
Yeah.
and like what I wish I would have had growing up. Especially knowing like people are making a living playing video games and being in the video game industry. It's like whatever I can do to like get that feeling back, that's probably where my passions align right now. And Easy Ball is one of them for sure.
And do you have any advice for any upcoming streamers?
For sure. I would say don't feel like it's too late. 1000%. I think a lot of times when people look at content creation, they're like, dang, like I missed the window to get in. Like all these people are doing all these things already. Like there's nothing new I can do. It's like I tell people all the time, like there's only one you out here though. You know, you're gonna be running in circles trying to compete with everybody else instead of really locking in on who you are. Like I said earlier, what you want to do, what your goals are, what you want to see out of it, what kind of community you want to build. At the end of the day, this is a people business, right? Like you're making content, yes, but like the people that will get you the like views are people. Like those are actual human beings that watch you and subscribe to you. And the more that you can remember that, I think the easier it is for you to move as a human being too, rather than like, okay, let me see if I can if I say this thing or like if I have this person or if I buy this microphone, like it'll get me more views. It's like, no, you got to connect with people out here. And I would say use a calendar, right? More practical advice. I'd say use a calendar and really treat it like like a business too, though, right? Like you want to stay consistent. You want to have days that you know you're doing this. You want to be professional. And none of this takes away from you being creative or fun or lighthearted. It's just you like I think rather than business, you want to be professional about it because the more that people see you taking it serious, the more people can take you serious. And there's a world where you can be both serious and playful, you know? This is the perfect place to do it, to be honest. Like streaming, like that's a perfect place to be streaming. I mean, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to be yourself. And yeah, and just have fun with it the entire time. Enjoy the journey, and don't only think about the end goal because that will drive you crazy. You gotta love editing. You gotta love pushing that go live button. You gotta love the hate. You gotta love the trolls. You have to love every part about it because that's what's going to build you the that's how you become what it would take to have what you're looking for, if that makes sense. Like you
Yeah.
got to become the person to have what you're actually after.
Yeah.
Stepping on my soapbox now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but also the advice that you given, I also kind of take that in as well. So also thank you.
Awesome. Of
Yeah.
course. Of course.
And one more question. Is there,
Sure.
I guess, like a stream that you kind of look back on and like, would you, I guess, maybe change anything, like do anything different in it, or kind of keep everything the same?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. I feel like, you know, there's like two answers to that. One, I would say no, because I think if there was something I would change, it probably needed to happen so that I can learn from that, right? Like if there was something that I said, like for example, a joke that didn't go right, or like I had a bad take about something that I needed to be corrected on. I think it's important to have those moments because it does show that you're a human being too, and you don't always get it right. I think the more that we live in like the reality that we're all not perfect and we all have a lot more to learn, the better we are to just each other and ourselves, honestly. But if I were to think overall, I would say there will probably be the shift that's happening in me now where it's like, I feel like I've done a lot in the name of growing my views and subscribers and fan base. There may be a lot of like people pleasing elements in there that like maybe I was doing things to get more viewers rather than doing things because I genuinely liked it or I genuinely wanted to. Whether it's like, you know, for example, right? Like there's days when I'm like, I don't want to record or stream today because I know my energy isn't in the right place that they subscribe for, right? Like I know what they in my head I would tell myself this, like I know what they subscribe for. They want high energy, they want jokes, they want fun, they want blah blah blah. And it's like if I wasn't feeling that, I just wouldn't show up rather than being like rather than the truth of it all is I don't know why they subscribe. They could have subscribed because they like how my room is kind of orange. You know what I'm saying? I can't really control that. It's more about what do I want to do. And if they like it or they don't, that's on them. I can't control it as much as I wish I could. But these days I'm like, bro, they're gonna love you or hate you regardless. And if somebody doesn't like you based on something that you say, or somebody's taking a dump on you because of something that you did, it's like they may have just been waiting for that moment regardless. Because the people that are for you will always be for you. And that's kind of what I wish I would have probably focused on more in my come up and probably just throughout my career of like, let's stop worrying about people's perception and just do what we feel we want to do. Because that's how you really stick around for a long time, and don't burn out. You don't end up resenting the very thing that you've been after this whole time.
Exactly, yeah.
You
And
know,
is there anything else you'd like to add for the interview?
shoot, I'd say, hey man, content creators, it's our time. I think that there has been a long wait, a long need for people to be authentic on entertainment positions, and this is the time to start for sure. I think there's about to be a new renaissance where like, these studios who put all this money behind movies or, you know, TV shows, etc. Like if you have some fire ideas, like the world needs them, you know what I'm saying? Like I think independent media, news, journalists, music, I feel like everything is moving towards the idea of like, I want to find what I really want. And I want to support people that are passionate about what they're doing rather than like, you know, throwing money away at projects just because that's all that we have. I think we're coming into a time where like, bro, it's us now. It's us now, and it's really fire. It's really fire. So don't sweat the equipment. Just start. You know what I'm saying? Don't sweat nothing until you get your first 100, whatever it is, songs, videos,
Yeah.
streams, and then we can start talking about like some sweat. But until then, just create. That's what
Yeah.
I'd say.
No, thank you. And also to kind of piggyback on what you said, like also in a sense, you're also, supporting me because I'm very passionate about journalism.
Hey,
So
let's
just having you
go.
here, yeah, it's just amazing. So again, thank you again so much.
Of course, of course. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Of
I
course.
appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you so much, Berlin. Have a great day.
You
Yeah.
too. You too. I'm gonna see you soon. I can't wait to watch this back and to see what great things come from you. So that means a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Of course. Thank you.
All right. Take care.